Grand Cru, traditionally the best grapes, the best ripeness, the best everything, year on year on year. Moet Chandon are very lucky to be the only house to be able to access grapes from all 17 of those, which gives a really good consistency and quality. And maybe if you're very important for someone like Jancis Robinson, you might get a little press tasting or something in there occasionally. This little building, owned by Moet Chandon, is called Mont Aigu. If you look behind you over there, you can see some rain clouds coming. This isn't live, don't be concerned. But that rain will fall through the chalk. It'll only hold what it needs, what the vines need. A lot of people haven't visited Champagne, especially consumer. Some of the trade have, but we have like drone footage inside the vineyards, in the cellars. These are places people possibly haven't visited, so it's a really good opportunity to almost visit the region without leaving home. Started shipping wine to the UK just 7 years after that, in 1750. Ambitious fellow. He was a PR genius. He was mayor of Epernay. He rebuilt damaged buildings after war. Just to give you a look, really, an idea of how long Moet Chandon has been making vintage cuvées. 1842, the very first release. The long history of the house, the quality of the wines, all the cuvées, how long they age for in the cellars, which is often at least double what other producers would age for. The amount of high quality grapes that Moet has access to, and just the long-standing tradition and history of making very special champagnes. You can ask me later in the museum area if you're interested, but those other four only make up 0.3% of the vineyard area, so very little. Initially, there's doubts about its link to any other Pinot varieties. So it means black pine, because the bunches hang like a sort of a black pine cone shape. That's where the name comes about. See the leaf here? Mouthfeel, onion. Ripe fruits as well, things like peach, pear, apple. UNESCO think it's very important. Just last year, all of the beautiful houses on the Avenue de Champagne in Epernay, along with the old cellars, underground, and all the hillsides and vineyards you can see around us now, they were all given UNESCO World Heritage listing last year. So Epernay is the second largest town after Reims, and it's home of Moet Chandon and many other famous houses. So down in here, it's a slow secondary fermentation. The yeast eats the sugar or metabolizes the sugar, and the byproducts are a little bit of alcohol bump up and carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide can't escape through the cap, so it dissolves back into the wine, giving us the bubbles with all that. It's quite damp, cool, consistently 10 degrees down here, perfect for storing and aging wine. A lot of people might not know the difference between other sparkling wine areas or production methods and champagne. So this production really highlights that, and I think people walk away understanding why champagne might cost a bit more, why champagne tastes different to other sparkling wines.
But such a different beast. I mean, you can just, I mean, the colour is quite indicative as well versus the other vintages. And I think even this one, even though I think it's evolved a lot, isn't there? That's coming from the red wine, from a little bit of tannin which you can taste. But she wants some tension there, and specifically when it comes to going with food. Now I've missed out on first bitter herb type element, which I think you also get a little bit of. The important thing about this is it exemplifies for me a lot of what makes Moet different from other champagne houses. And for me, if I'm going to do, some people will heavily oxidise the juicy. It involves, immersive, a totally immersive experience. It's brought champagne to London. And I think historically this has always been the biggest market for export market for champagne in the UK. But in a way, I think that's just been allowed to sort of grow by itself. But I think now the champagne guys are much more attentive, and they're, I think, a bit more keen to promote themselves, to educate people about what makes each of them different. And I think that's a really, really good thing. And it's a great thing if you're a wine drinker and wine lover in this country.
1/4 of a degree warmer here than it is here, and that can be enough to save the buds in spring. What I've also done, 1/2 degree parallel latitude, they want to keep the vines as warm as possible, so the earth absorbs some heat from the sun during the day.
It was a Very informative. I went to the Champagne region probably when I was about 9 years old, so it's a bit of a while back, but it certainly felt like I was there today.
Swinging around on your swivel chair, you can sort of check the vines that are blowing in the wind behind you and get a full immersion of where you are.
I think it was very good when you're looking at a whole vineyard and you're trying to look at what you wouldn't normally be able to see, so things behind you, things to the left and right, and certainly having the sort of swivel chairs gives you the more panoramic view, and it certainly transported you there.